Hope you're having a very good afternoon. NTV/AMEC Foster Wheeler meteorologist Eddie Shear with you. And I wanted to go over a quick weather before the weather in regard to the incoming low for tomorrow night into Wednesday, which is going to feature the remnants from Tropical Storm Anna, which we can see here off the coast of the Carolinas, and an area of low pressure currently over the Great Lakes, kind of merging in the vicinity of Newfoundland. And again, this will impact us tomorrow evening through the day Wednesday, finally clearing out as we go into our day on Thursday. It's also May 11, 2015, in case anybody doesn't know, and I'm recording this around 2:30. So we can see sort of the pieces beginning to become apparent on the satellite imagery right here. What I want to share with you now is the GFS model from Weather Bell. This starting us off at 9:30 tomorrow morning. And as you can see, it's a pretty quiet start to the day. All the action across the Maritimes into Quebec. And it's actually going to be a pretty nice Tuesday overall. 9-10 degrees for most of us during the day. And then things turn a little bit downhill by the second half of the afternoon as our low moves in. So jumping ahead 3 hours now, this is 3:30 Tuesday afternoon. It's still dry across much of central and eastern Newfoundland, and a little bit of rain and snow breaking out across western areas and the south coast during the second half of the day. That's valid 3:30. Between 3:30 and 9:30, we see the precipitation really beginning to move in tomorrow night, with that low working its way north of PEI. And this model showing some snow across interior central Newfoundland and up along the northern peninsula. Jumping ahead 6 more hours now, 3:30 in the morning, this model has a low just west of the Burin Peninsula with rain across much of the island, snow along the immediate north coast and the northern peninsula. And as the low basically stalls out as we go through Wednesday, we'll see snow flurries or light snow continuing across much of central and western Newfoundland during the day, with potentially some accumulation along the northern peninsula and the Bayburt Peninsula if this model is right. And it looks like things calm down Thursday night, which is where we're at now in the time frame. Now, as far as total accumulation of precipitation types go, what this model is suggesting, and you can see this is through Wednesday night, is very little in the way of ice pellets, which you can see in this top left box. A little bit of freezing rain for your interior Newfoundland, some snow along the northern peninsula, Bayburt Peninsula, the north coast, and very light snowfall amounts across the northwest Avalon, Clarenville, Bonavista Peninsula, and the northeast coast. And generally a fair amount of rain everywhere else, especially as we get south of kind of that rain snow line. Now, this is only one computer model, and it's not bullish on frozen precipitation. I'll show you a model that actually is quite bullish on frozen precipitation, and this is the RDPS, or Regional Deterministic Prediction System, from Environment Canada. And this is going through the same time frame. So this is now 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. After a nice day, clouds are increasing and the showers do begin. Now, many areas will start off as some rain because temperatures are going to be so warm, but temperatures will fall as the precipitation gets going close to zero or below zero in many areas. Notice by 6:30 tomorrow evening, we've got snow on this model showing up along the west coast and some freezing rain along the south coast and southwest coast. As we go into tomorrow evening, now this is 9:30, rain has enveloped much of the Avalon Peninsula, much of northeast Newfoundland. We have that snow line across the interior areas, mainly south of the TCH, back toward the west coast, and a hefty bit of freezing rain across the south coast and just inland a little bit. And that freezing rain continues tomorrow night. Looks like much of the central part of the island will change over to snow for a time tomorrow night. And this is valid at, that is midnight, or 12:30 I should say. And then going into 3:30 tomorrow morning, still rain across eastern Newfoundland, still freezing rain for interior central areas south of the TCH. Ice pellets as we look farther north for the west coast, and some snow along the north coast tomorrow evening. And then as we go into tomorrow morning, things do calm down a little bit, and it looks like we will see sort of one more burst of some lighter snowfall as we go through Wednesday as that low hangs around. So we could see a few more centimeters locally on the northern peninsula and the Bayburt Peninsula and the northern coastline potentially on Wednesday. Just depends how warm it gets in the afternoon. But what I want to draw your attention to is this model's precipitation type totals. First is freezing rain. This is the 48-hour total valid Wednesday morning, which the freezing rain should be done by. And again, it's going to be primarily between tomorrow evening and Wednesday morning. And this model forecasting 20 to 30 millimeters of freezing rain for a lot of the south coast, just west of the Canaga region, all the way into Port aux Basques. Folks, if that happens, which this model thinks is a good possibility, and sometimes this model has a better handle on Newfoundland weather than the other model I was showing you, the GFS, because it's got some better physics in it for Newfoundland's topography. If that happens, we're talking about potentially that's that's over an inch of ice accretion, and that's more than enough to bring down trees and power lines. So we could be talking about widespread power outages along the south coast, which is not good because there's a lot of remote outport communities sort of in that area there. So if you live on the south coast, you're watching this, I'm sure you're prepared for all sorts of weather, but the power may go out. So if you're not prepared for that, just be aware it's a good possibility if we do get that amount of freezing rain. Hopefully it's just rain, or snow for that matter. As far as snowfall goes, this model through Wednesday not showing a whole lot. Highest amounts in the long-range mountains along the west coast, 10-15 centimeters, and significantly less as we go farther east and north, although we could add to some of these totals on Wednesday on the northern peninsula with that little secondary batch of snow. Ice pellet amount, a little bit, looks like for everybody across most of Newfoundland except on the Burin and Avalon peninsulas. Certainly a millimeter or two of that is a good possibility, mainly tomorrow evening until about midnight. Then things should warm up or change to snow if you're in central. And as far as rainfall goes, looks like some significant amounts on the Avalon, 10 to as much as 30 millimeters in spots. Same thing back on the Burin Peninsula and into the Harbor-Breton, Conagra Peninsula region. And then up on the Bonavista Peninsula into Clarenville, Terra Nova, again, looks like 10 to 20 millimeters of rain, but it's kind of the transition zone between rain and snow is going to be from, we'll call it Terra Nova, especially northeast toward the coast and sort of this area. We'll see the biggest mess from this incoming system. So, that's what I know so far. Sorry about that. More details to come tonight on NTV between 5:30 and 7 o'clock. I'm on between 5:30 and 6 on First Edition, I believe, with Larry J today, and then on the NTV Evening News Hour between 6 and 7 o'clock. You can also find me on social media at Eddie Shear on Twitter and meteorologist Eddie Shear on Facebook. Have a great afternoon.